All right, we're about to jump into a classic riddle, a really high-stakes survival puzzle that's going to make you think. Let's get right to it.
Okay, so imagine this. You and 99 other people are sealed inside a submarine, deep, deep under the ocean. You can't surface for 90 days. That's 3 whole months. The question sounds simple enough, right? How does everybody breathe? But, well, the answer is anything but simple.
And that right there is the heart of the problem. It's what we call the underwater paradox. You're in a completely sealed system, totally cut off from the world up on the surface.
A submarine is what's known as a closed-loop system. The easiest way to think about it is like a bottle with the cap screwed on super tight. That's it. Nothing new gets in, and nothing gets out. That means every single resource you're going to need for those 90 days has to either be on board from the start, or you have to figure out a way to make it from what you've already got.
So where do we even begin? Well, we have to start with the most immediate life-or-death problem, the air you breathe. This is, without a doubt, the first and most critical puzzle we've got to solve.
And just to get your head around the sheer scale of this challenge, look at this number. 550 liters. That is how much pure oxygen one person, just one, needs every single day. Now start doing the math. Multiply that by 100 people, and then multiply that by 90 days. The number just becomes astronomically huge.
And this right here perfectly illustrates this central problem. There is just no way you can store that much oxygen. I mean, think about it. Compressed air tanks are really bulky, they take up a ton of space. To carry enough for the whole crew for 3 months, your submarine would basically have to be a giant floating oxygen tank. So let's just be clear, carrying it all with you is not the answer. It's completely impossible.
And this is where the real problem solving has to kick in. If you can't pack it with you, you have to find another way. So what on earth could that be?
But wait, it's not that simple. The problem actually gets even more complicated. You see, it isn't just about what you need to breathe in, it's also about what you're breathing out.
See, every time you exhale, you release carbon dioxide. Now, in a sealed environment like a sub, that stuff has nowhere to go. It just builds and builds and builds. At high concentrations, CO2 becomes toxic. It'll give you headaches, make you dizzy, and eventually you'll suffocate. So it's not just a lack of oxygen that can get you. The buildup of your own breath is just as deadly.
So what we really have here is a two-part problem, a double-edged sword. First, you have to find a way to get a constant supply of fresh oxygen. And second, you have to find a way to constantly get rid of that toxic carbon dioxide. You have to solve both parts of the equation or you don't survive.
All right, so now that we know the full terrifying scope of the challenge, it's time to put on our engineer hats. Let's take a look around. Let's do a full inventory. What do we actually have on board this submarine to work with?
Okay, let's run down the list. We've got food rations, but no, that won't help us breathe. Medical kits? They're for emergencies, not for making air. What about diesel fuel? Well, we need that for power, but burning it actually consumes oxygen, so that's a step in the wrong direction. Crew belongings? Highly unlikely. But what about drinking water? And then, of course, there's the ocean itself, all around us. Does anything on this list kind of jump out at you as a potential source?
In that moment, that's where we find our answer. The solution is actually hidden in plain sight in the most abundant thing we have available to us.
Let me ask the question a little differently. Forget for a second about what's just inside the sub. What is the one resource that surrounds the submarine in a practically infinite supply? The one thing on our list that you could never, ever run out of?
The answer, of course, is water. H2O. It doesn't matter if we're talking about the drinking water stored on board or the endless ocean just outside the hull. You are literally swimming in it. And the clue has been right there in the chemical formula this whole time. H2O. That O stands for oxygen. It's right there. So now we get to the final brilliant piece of the riddle. The key to survival is locked inside every single water molecule. The oxygen is there, waiting. The only question left is, how do you get it out? Well, the answer is a clever process called electrolysis. By passing an electric current, which the submarine can easily generate, through water, you can actually split the H2O molecule apart. And when you do that, you release pure, breathable oxygen. And that's it. That's how you solve the underwater paradox. You don't carry your air with you, you create it from the very ocean that surrounds you.